A guy named Hughie lives a quiet life, but that changes when he encounters a reckless superhero. Two teenagers argue about who'd win in a fight between superheroes the Deep and Translucent. Suddenly, an armored truck hijacked by robbers collides with another vehicle, trying to evade the police cars and heading toward the teens. The boys try to get out of the way, but one of them trips. Luckily, Queen Maeve arrives and puts herself in front of the armored truck, destroying the vehicle and stopping it from hitting the teens. The robbers get out of the truck and take the boys as their hostages, threatening Queen Maeve to stay back or they'll shoot them. However, Queen Maeve just smiles at them. Then, one robber is attacked with a laser beam, causing him to fall to the ground as his gun melts in his hand. The teens run as Homelander appears to assist Queen Maeve in stopping the robbers, so the other guy shoots him but he's invincible. Unharmed, Homelander throws the robber and asks the teens if they're okay, but the stunned boys simply ask for a selfie. Immediately, the heroic save of the Seven's heroes, Queen Maeve and Homelander, is all over the news. They also stay behind for a photo op with their fans. Meanwhile, in an electronics store, Hughie Campbell tries to ask his boss Gary for a salary raise, but the man ignores him. Later, his girlfriend Robin arrives to have lunch with him. After leaving the store, Robin asks Hughie if he's already asked Gary for a raise, but he says his boss was busy. Robin then mentions moving in with Hughie, which surprises the guy. As Robin takes half a step off the curb, Hughie happily kisses her. Suddenly, Robin explodes into bits as she's in the path of the speedster superhero A-Train while he's running. Panicking, A-Train tells Hughie he can't stop while carrying a duffel bag and takes off. Unfortunately, Hughie is left on the side of the road, covered in Robin's blood and clutching her severed hands. Meanwhile, in Des Moines, Iowa, Starlight prepares to audition for the Seven. To warm up, she punches the wall continuously and lifts a car. Later at the audition, Starlight introduces herself, instructing the interviewers to look away since her powers can blind human eyes with light from her body. During the interview, Starlight shares how her mother used to take her to Little Miss Hero pageants when she was a small girl. When asked what her wish was, she always said to save the world. The judges chuckled, but it wasn't a joke to Starlight. Now she wants to be in the Seven. At home, Hughie watches television with his father Hugh. Suddenly, A-Train appears on the news. Hugh wishes to change the channel, but Hughie refuses. A-Train offers his condolences to Robin's family and informs the audience that he was chasing bank robbers when Robin stepped in the middle of the street, which angers Hughie since she was just a half step off the curb. Later, a representative of Vought International arrives at his house, stating that Vought would like to pay him $45,000 to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Hughie then imagines grabbing the guy and telling him to leave, refusing to sign anything. However, he snaps back to reality and says he'll think about it first, so the representative gives him his calling card. In their house, Starlight receives a call from Vought International and learns she's been accepted to be part of the Seven, leaving her and her mother Donna ecstatic. Meanwhile, Hughie decides to file a criminal case against A-Train, but Hugh is against the idea and notes that he should sign the contract since the money can help them. Hughie is furious that Robin died because of A-Train, but his father wants him to be realistic, believing he can't handle the case. Upset, Hughie leaves the house. As Starlight arrives in New York, she's greeted by thousands of fans and walks on a red carpet. On stage, The Deep announces Lamplighter's retirement during Vought International's 2019 annual meeting of shareholders and formally introduces Starlight to everyone. Later, The Deep shows Starlight around the Seven's HQ. Starlight admits that she had a crush on The Deep as a little girl and claims she's where she's always wanted to be. With this, The Deep takes off his pants, disgusting Starlight. As Starlight is about to leave, The Deep puts his pants back on and clarifies he only wants her to go down on him, adding that it's just a question of how bad she wants to be in the Seven. This then offends Starlight, triggering her power, which breaks the monitors. Unbothered, The Deep claims to be the Seven's second in command, threatening Starlight he'll have her kicked out of the team by saying she attacked him if she doesn't give him what he wants. Concurrently, Translucent, a member of the Seven, is being interviewed on a TV show. He explains how he turns invisible, saying his skin turns into carbon metamaterial that bends the light. At work, Hughie watches him on TV. Then, a customer, Billy Butcher, arrives and reveals that he knows what happened to Robin, shocking Hughie. He introduces himself as an FBI agent and tells Hughie they need to talk. As they walk, Billy tells Hughie how superheroes lose hundreds of people each year to collateral damage. He takes Hughie to a secret club, saying it's the only place superheroes are free to be themselves. In the monitoring room, Billy shows Hughie surveillance footage of A-Train in the club from the previous night with his friend, and the guy is making fun of Robin's death. Furious, Hughie ends up joining Billy. Meanwhile, Starlight throws up in the restroom, revealing that she did what the Deep told her to do. As Starlight washes her face beside Queen Maeve, the woman tells her to clean herself up and never let anyone see her like that. In the club, Hughie asks if all superheroes are the same, but Billy clarifies that Homelander doesn't even smoke or drink, saying he's like a saint. Billy then gives Hughie the police log from the day Robin got killed, indicating that A-Train may be hiding something because it displays no bank alarms going off. Billy instructs Hughie to contact Vought and inform them that he'll sign the NDA, but only if A-Train's there in person. Billy wants Hughie to put a bug in the 7th tower to spy on them, but the young man declines. At Vought, VP Madeline Stillwell discusses with Mayor Steve the homicide rate of Baltimore, which is 62%. So Madeline offers a superhero, Nubian Prince, for $300 million a year to protect their city, but the mayor can only give $200 million. Unfortunately, Madeline refuses since they also got Atlanta waiting in the wings, but Steve blackmails her, claiming he knows about Compound V, and threatens to reveal the truth if Madeline doesn't accept his offer. At the same time, he says Compound V is a type of rumor that could tarnish her heroes. However, Madeline insists she has no idea what Steve is talking about, saying that the final price is $300 million or they'll go to Atlanta. The following day, Donna calls Starlight and asks about the Seven. Starlight attempts to tell what happened between the Deep and her, but she realizes how proud her mother is of her and decides not to ruin the moment. As Starlight ends the call, she catches the attention of Hughie, who's sitting on the park bench with her. The two then both claim they are having a bad day. Starlight says it's a work thing, while Hughie tells her he has a life problem. Starlight explains her situation and says she believed she was tough, but a terrible experience just made her remember her mother's advice to just keep smiling and continue no matter what. Now she feels sick because she didn't fight, saying she's not who she thought she was. Remembering what Robin used to tell him when she was still alive, Hughie advises Starlight to get back up whenever she falls down, making her realize she's a fighter. After that, Hughie introduces himself, and Starlight does the same, saying her name is Annie. Later, Hughie finds Billy to inform him that he'll do the job, so he calls Vought International to tell them he'll be signing the contract, but he wants an apology from A-Train. Vought International refuses and hangs up, but Billy believes that Vought will still grant Hughie's request. Meanwhile, Starlight shows up at the Seven's HQ during a meeting held by Homelander. The Deep mocks Starlight, saying he was beginning to wonder if she'd show up, but the girl makes it clear she's not going anywhere. Homelander tells the team he wants to know who they saved that week, starting with Black Noir. Outside moments later, Hughie arrives with Billy and prepares to enter the 7th tower. Billy instructs Hughie on how to place the bug. He hides the bug in Hughie's cell phone case and tells him to be kind at the HQ. Frightened, Hughie asks him to repeat the instructions and starts to panic. However, Billy tells him to quit being a coward. As he enters the 7th tower, Hughie gets stopped by security when the metal detector goes off. Security orders him to empty his pockets, but fortunately, the bug isn't found. Hughie is then allowed to proceed to the 7's HQ, where he waits for A-Train. After a few minutes, Vought representatives arrive with A-Train, who is covered in blood. The superhero apologizes to Hughie, who starts hyperventilating, remembering what happened to his girlfriend. But as it turns out, Hughie is just imagining the blood, and as they shake hands, he smiles and pretends to accept A-Train's apology. Afterward, A-Train leaves to continue his work. Before signing the NDA, Hughie goes to the restroom to prepare the bug but accidentally drops it. Suddenly, Starlight enters the restroom but luckily doesn't notice the bug. As she leaves, Hughie immediately grabs the bug and goes too. Unfortunately, Translucent is watching him while he's invisible. Hughie then signs the contract and plants the bug under the table. Later, Billy drives Hughie back to his workplace, saying that's all he needs from him for now. Confused, Hughie insists on assisting, but Billy refuses. Then, Madeline calls Steve and offers $230 million for Nubian Prince. She also tells him to keep the Compound V rumors quiet, and Steve agrees. Meanwhile, Gary leaves the store and instructs Hughie to lock the place. The door opens, but Hughie doesn't see anyone. Suddenly, the invisible Translucent confronts him about the bug. He beats up Hughie and asks why he planted the bug inside their headquarters. Pissed, Translucent takes a television and threatens Hughie. Thankfully, Billy crashes through the store and runs over Translucent, saving Hughie. Translucent then starts fighting Billy, but since Translucent is invisible, he has the upper hand. So Billy spits blood on the superhero to see him. The two continue to fight, and while Billy manages to land a few punches, Translucent still knocks him down. Hughie tries to electrocute him, but the broken cord doesn't reach Translucent. Seeing this, Billy kicks Translucent toward Hughie, and the superhero seemingly dies after getting electrocuted. Then, Billy instructs Hughie to help him put Translucent in the car's trunk, but Hughie panics since they're in trouble for attacking a member of the Seven. Hughie asks Billy to call the FBI since he's an agent, but Billy reveals that he isn't a Fed, shocking the young man. Meanwhile, the private plane carrying Steve and his son experiences turbulence. Steve's son observes Homelander flying beside their plane and inquires whether they are friends. Shockingly, Homelander uses his laser beams to split the plane in half, killing everyone on board. In the electronics store, Hughie helps Billy put Translucent in the trunk since the police are already approaching. As they escape, Billy explains that he's worked for the FBI and many people, considering himself an independent contractor. Suddenly, Translucent starts pounding in the trunk, surprising Billy and Hughie that he's still alive. Hughie is delighted to know that Translucent is alive and instructs Billy to pull over. However, Billy convinces him that it's worse since Translucent saw their faces, and he'll never get payback for Robin if he walks away. Later, the two arrive at the house of Billy's buddy, Frenchie. Frenchie's friend, Cherie, opens the door and lets them inside. Frenchie asks Billy why he's there and assumes he will pay his debt of $40,000, but Billy instead goes outside to show Frenchie what's in his car. Then, he electrocutes Translucent again so that his friend would see the superhero, making Frenchie uneasy that they have a member of the Seven. Scared, Frenchie points a gun at Billy, claiming the superheroes are chipped and saying the Seven may be on their way to save Translucent. Frenchie says Translucent isn't his problem, but Billy says it is now because the guy has already seen his face. In the Seven Tower, Vought's director of talent relations, Ashley, informs Starlight that they're sending her on her first patrol. However, Starlight's surprised that the Deep is also on patrol with her. It's supposed to be the Deep and Translucent, but everyone is excited to see Starlight working. Starlight claims she likes to conduct her investigations alone, but people like a superhero team-up. Concurrently, Hughie, Billy, and Frenchie hide Translucent in an abandoned restaurant. They cover the ceiling and walls of a room with foil to block the chip signal and trap Translucent in an electrified cage. After leaving Translucent in the room, Frenchie states that Translucent can reorder his carbon on his skin into metamaterial, making it as hard as diamonds and nearly impossible to penetrate. Billy proposes to suffocate him, but Frenchie says others have already tried and failed. Hughie is terrified to hear that they want to kill Translucent. Also, Frenchie points out that they must pierce Translucent's skin, but he doesn't know how. Understandably, Hughie is against the idea of killing Translucent. However, Billy argues that the Seven will do something to them if they let Translucent go. In Madeline's office, Madeline watches the Deep on the news as he informs everyone that he's located the mayor's plane about 2 miles down at the bottom of Hudson Canyon. Then, Madeline confronts Homelander about Steve's death when he arrives, saying the Deep told her that there were scorch marks on the mayor's engine, almost as if from 2 small high-intensity beams. Not even feeling guilty, the superhero argues that he only killed the mayor for Madeline. Afterward, Homelander speaks with the Deep and demands to know why he told Madeline about the plane. Out of fear, the Deep apologizes, saying he doesn't even know what he saw. Homelander expects they'll never have that conversation again, to which the Deep agrees. Meanwhile, Frenchie creates a bullet coated in the same carbon metamaterial as Translucent's skin. Following that, Billy fires the bullet at Translucent, but the bullet bounces off his skin, causing Translucent to laugh at them. Unfortunately, the bullet has pierced the foil on the ceiling. With this, a crime analytics employee, Annika, locates Translucent in Jersey City and shows Madeline the 10-block area where he is, so Madeline instructs Annika to tell security to discreetly search the area. That night, Starlight and the Deep begin their patrol. The Deep angrily rants that he's only being called to deal with water-related cases, while Starlight is still pissed at him. She curses him for what he's done to her. However, the Deep warns he'll tell everyone she's crazy and even go to Homelander. So Starlight points out she now knows he's not number 2 after asking around, calling him the fish guy, and threatening to burn his eyes out if he touches her again. When a vehicle arrives at the docks, Starlight and the Deep decide to continue their conversation later and get to work. 2 men inside a warehouse check Homelander toys that contain illegal substances. Starlight quickly incapacitates them with her powers, and when 2 more try to escape, the Deep stops and beats them up. After the fight, Ashley shows up with cameramen to film the encounter for the fans, which surprises Starlight. Desperate to know how to kill Translucent, Billy goes to the house of CIA Deputy Director Susan and asks for the superhero's files. However, despite having a history with him, Susan refuses and asks Billy to leave. In the abandoned restaurant, Hughie offers Translucent a glass of water, which he takes. He asks why A-Train was in such a hurry when he hit Robin, but Translucent gets mad and thinks he was taken because of what happened to the girl. He further mentions that aside from turning invisible, he can also read people, and then he shows himself to Hughie. Suddenly, Frenchie notices a vehicle outside the restaurant, so he grabs his gun. The car soon leaves, but Vought security checks the place. Luckily, they find nothing. In the room, Translucent states that Homelander will find him and kill Hughie and his friends. During a fundraising event, Madeline talks to Senator Calhoun about contracting superheroes to the military, but the man isn't interested. Then later, the senator sleeps with a beautiful bartender who turns into a man. Since the senator is tied to the bed and blindfolded, he doesn't see the shapeshifter taking pictures of them. On her way to the 7 Tower, Starlight protects a girl from being violated by 2 guys and beats them up. Unknown to Starlight, someone is recording her. Back in the restaurant, Frenchie makes a fruitless attempt to kill Translucent. Hughie then asks Frenchie what he does, and the guy responds that he is a gun runner by trade. Afterward, Billy returns and helps Frenchie find a way to kill Translucent. Frenchie watches a television show about a turtle and gets an idea that could work against the superhero. He then electrocutes Translucent since he needs him to be unconscious. In the 7 Tower, Ashley is furious over the footage of Starlight beating up 2 guys, stating that her secret identity is blown since she wasn't wearing her costume. However, Starlight claims she protected a girl from being violated. Unfortunately, the girl is not visible in the footage. Because of what happened, Ashley tells Starlight to prepare for her meetings with risk assessment, crisis management, and legal. The next day, Calhoun is shown his indecent photos, but he angrily tells Madeline no one will vote for the bill to put superheroes in the army. Despite that, Madeline remains optimistic. Worried about Translucent, Homelander visits the crime analytics department to ask a hesitant Annika about his friend's location. In the restaurant, Frenchie reveals that Translucent is like a turtle, with a hard shell on the exterior but has soft insides like a regular person, so he placed a lump of plastic up his behind that could be triggered by a detonator. Frightened, Translucent begs for his life and reveals that A-Train was coming from Popclaw's place the day Robin died, stating he always goes there. Hughie knows that Popclaw is a superhero with sharp things coming out of her arms, and Translucent swears that's all he knows. Leaving the room with the others, Billy prepares to kill Translucent, but Frenchie shows him their surveillance footage from which Homelander is seen searching for Translucent. So if Billy detonates the bomb, Homelander will hear the explosion. From the other room, Translucent observes Hughie from the glass window and realizes Homelander has arrived. To distract Homelander, Frenchie gets inside his van with Billy and calls Cherie, stating that it's a burn. With this, Cherie prepares a bomb at their place while Billy uses the computer to search for a signal. Seizing the opportunity, Translucent urinates in a glass and throws it to the wires, deactivating the electricity on the cage, which allows him to escape. Suddenly, Homelander appears outside Frenchie's van and requests to see Frenchie's ID in the back of the vehicle. But as he's about to check the back, Billy, who's now hiding in the distance, detonates the bomb at Frenchie's place as Cherie flees. This then catches Homelander's attention and causes him to leave to investigate. Meanwhile, Hughie threatens Translucent that he'll detonate the bomb inside his body if he doesn't return to his cage. Translucent tries to convince Hughie to let him go, saying he will be the hero who saved him. Sad to say, Hughie is having second thoughts on what to do. Then, Translucent walks past Hughie and turns invisible, thinking he's now safe. But seconds later, Hughie detonates the bomb, killing Translucent.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.